So we're leaving Colorado Springs and heading to Salt Lake.
Okay, so I was just about to push the button to record, and Elizabeth said, "Wait a minute, I gotta sneeze." As soon as she said that, I went, and she...
I burst out laughing and the sneeze is stuck right there.
And I had to turn, I couldn't push record because we laughed for about 5 minutes.
You know those moments where, you think everybody's settled down and all one person has to do is just start again and then you just go roaring. I mean, one or the other of us got to set off again for quite a while. My eyes are watering.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, we can do this.
You think we've got the laughter out now? Can we start?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, here we go.
We're adults.
Now I got to collect myself.
Yes.
What were we saying?
We were...
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Hey everybody, I'm Bill.
I'm Elizabeth. Live simple.
Live free.
We have had a wonderful time in Colorado Springs. The meet and greet, it was sweet people. It was so much fun. We just laughed. And then I loved my reunion. Just staying with some friends and seeing them, it just meant the world to me. So it was great. For 6 days, it was great.
So now we're headed to Salt Lake. Actually, it's not Salt Lake. It's a little south of Salt Lake. We're going to be staying with our friend Jeff and Lisa. And Jeff is going to be doing the solar install on the truck. And we are very excited about that.
Yes, we are. And he does such excellent work.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
And we both love Colorado. And as we drive through, we hope to stop at Glenwood Springs, which is one of our all-time favorite places in Colorado.
Yeah.
So, come along.
We are actually looking directly at the mighty Pikes Peak. It's 14er. And I hope you can kind of see it. The smoke from Canada has really obscured the mountains. But we are just heading right toward Pikes Peak. Right in front of us here is a very famous, important mountain. That is Cheyenne Mountain. And underneath that is NORAD. All right. You can see Pikes Peak a little better here. That is Pikes Peak. We're just entering into Manitou Springs, heading toward Wilkerson Pass. See the Ferris wheel right up there? This is, there's Santa's Workshop right at the base of Pikes Peak. And my sisters and I worked there one whole season. And you can just see the Ferris wheel peeking up there. It's got all sorts of little Christmas shops and mule deer walking around, and of course Santa's house. And I ran that Ferris wheel.
So when was that you worked at Santa's Workshop?
It must have been, it was 1976. Christmas of 1976. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I was an elf, and then I ran different rides.
Okay, so now we have just come up US 24 from Colorado Springs through Ute Pass and through Woodland Park.
Woodland Park, which has grown so much.
Yeah, when last time we were here, which was about 30 years ago, Woodland Park was just a wide spot in the road. Now they're big enough to have a Walmart.
Yeah, it's a regular town.
So we are now at Wilkerson Pass, and behind us is something called South Park. It's a pretty vast area. I don't know how big, but it's a mountain basin, treeless grasslands with mountains all around it, but it's a very flat area. We're at 9,507 feet right now, and this is kind of like a national park, not a national park, but a national, what do they call it? Anyway, and National Park Service kind of thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But they say it's the highest national, or it's the highest park in the country. And we were actually right here in this very spot a couple days after we were married. We got married in Colorado Springs, and we borrowed a friend's brand new 1978 Bronco for 4 days up in the mountains, and we stopped here. And I have a picture right here of Elizabeth with South Park behind us. I wish I could show it to you, but it's at home and in one of our picture albums, and we're on the road.
Well, I do know it was amazing because there was still snow. It was the beginning of July, And when he took that picture of me, I was right beside a meadow with snow in it.
That's true. Yeah.
Yep.
So it's been many years since we've been here.
Yeah.
And now we'll be driving through the South Park area, and then the whole thing, like I said, is surrounded with mountains on the other side. So then we'll be going up over Hoosier Pass.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's amazing to be here after so many decades.
Yeah. It's incredible to be back. I'm also quite happy that I am almost 10,000 feet, and so far I am breathing.
Yeah. We're a little concerned about going up over the Hoosier Pass because it's at 11,005. She's at 9.5 right now and still breathing fine. So.
Yeah.
And we won't be up there long. We'll just go up and down.
Yep.
So we'll see what happens.
I'm breathing.
So this is the visitor center at the top of Wilkerson Pass. I found out this is actually Pike National Forest. It's not a national park, it's a national forest. So here you can see a topo map of Colorado. Colorado Springs is down here.
Wonderful.
We came up this way through the mountains up Ute Pass. We're now right here, and all of this is South Park, which is a high basin. So we're overlooking South Park, and then you can see all the mountains around it, all the way around.
These are the collegiates. This is the collegiate range because many of them are named after major universities. There's a lot of 14,000 foot mountains here, and this is so familiar to me because my family used to come up way into these mountains and camp like all the time. So these are my beloved collegiates. There's still some distance, but they're 14,000 footers. We call them 14ers. Cool, look at this paved bike path along here. Oh, I wish I was on my e-trike. Wow, this is really awesome. What a wonderful thing to be able to ride around these gorgeous mountains on a paved bike path. Oh my goodness. We're quite high here. We're in the beautiful little town of Alma, and it is at 10,500 some feet, and quite charming. Just nestled right here in these gorgeous mountains. South Park Saloon. So, little town of Alma. Yeah, I know that Leadville is at 10,000 feet, but this little town here is like at 10,500. Log cabin. Yeah, big, beautiful mountain up there. Oh, it's beautiful here.
Now I need to take a minute and tell you about the next part of the video. It was actually an 11-minute clip that Elizabeth and I did just sitting and talking about our experiences at Glenwood Springs, and then I interposed video on top of it to show you what we're talking about. But I had some sort of a problem with that particular video clip. I'm not sure why. All of the audio works fine. You can hear us. But the video part, the part that you see, is frozen. It froze on just a static picture of us. I tried everything I could to try to figure out why. and I never figured it out. So for the next 11 minutes, you're going to see, you know, other videos that I interpose on top of it, but it's basically like listening to the radio. You'll be able to hear us, but you won't see anything. So I'm very sorry, but I hope you will stick with us, and it goes back to regular video after that. So we are now going into Glenwood Canyon, and this is an incredible canyon. It's about 15 miles long, and the interstate goes right through it. And steep walls on both sides. It's absolutely beautiful.
Goes right along the Colorado.
Yeah, Colorado River down in the bottom, but you probably can't see it from the camera on the truck very easily. There's a paved bicycle path that goes most of the way through it that we've ridden on it. It's been there for a long time, and we really enjoy Glenwood Canyon.
Yes.
But then at the end of the canyon, we come into Glenwood Springs, and Glenwood Springs is one of our favorite places in Colorado.
Yeah. We've been there camping with your family across the Colorado River, just across from Glenwood. Had the kids there and hiking and biking. But one of my favorite memories of Glenwood Springs is, you know, the CPA exam is a bear. It's really rough, 3 full days. And so I left the kids with, well, our friends that we just visited with. You know, I left the kids with them. And I went down to pick Bill up, and we drove to Glenwood Springs. Now, this was in the dead of winter.
Yeah, let me back it up just a little bit. In 1985, I graduated from the University of Northern Colorado with a degree in accounting. And then that November, I think it was, I took the CPA exam, and which I passed, by the way.
Yeah, I was so proud of him. First time.
And I had taken 2 weeks off from work and just studied 80 hours a week for those 2 weeks to get through that CPA exam. So then right after the exam, she came down and picked me up.
Yeah.
So.
I just, you know, had the kids with some friends and came down and picked Bill up, and we headed due west out of Colorado, out of Denver. And we spent 6 hours in front of the Eisenhower Tunnel because there had been an avalanche up on Loveland Pass. They had to get things cleared. It was an adventure. So then when we got into Glenwood, it was cold and it was dark, and there were great big fat snowflakes coming down. And we found a place to park, went in, and we were staying in the little building. They had rooms upstairs that you could stay in, like a hotel. Little bitty windows. It was very old. And then you just walk right out and you go right into this massive hot, you know, mineral spring, hot spring there in Glenwood. I believe that the initial water coming up into that, the hot spring, is like the hottest natural spring, I believe, around. I could be wrong, but it's very, very...
That's what I'm told.
Yeah. And then they pipe a lot of the nice cool water into it, so it's just, it's a beautiful temperature.
So the big pool is like, I don't know, 98 degrees or something like that.
It's like body temperature.
And then the small pool is like 103 or 104.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
102. I don't remember.
It's a typical hot tub temperature.
So, but we spent the entire weekend there, and it was cold and snowy the entire weekend, and we spent the whole time in the hot tub.
Yeah, in the hot spring. It's like 3 times Olympic size.
Yeah, it's so cool to be in the hot water like that when it's snowing, and you know your hair freezes, but you're not cold at all.
And this warm mist rises up off the water.
Yeah, you get down like this in the water, and all you see is mist. And as soon as you stand up a little bit, then you can see over. It's really cool.
Your hair's all frozen, and big flakes coming down.
And when you get out of the water, you think you're instantly going to be frozen, but you have such a pocket, an aura of heat radiating off of your body from the hot water that it takes like 5 minutes before you start to feel the cold.
And so we'd have plenty of time to get out and go into the building and go up and, you know, just, you don't even really have to shower off. It's just really healthy mineral water.
Right.
In the sunshine, it just dries into little bursts of color. But yeah, we just had the greatest time. And you can't stay in the hot tub for very long, but you can stay in the big one forever. It's just body temperature.
Yeah.
So yes, that was a wonderful experience.
And that whole weekend, because it was you know, cold, snowy, the whole weekend there were maybe a dozen people in the pool.
Oh, yeah.
In this monstrous huge pool. We were virtually alone there.
Yeah.
So, but that was in 1985.
And it's just a wonderful memory.
We've been back a couple times since, but that was the biggest memory. So we were very much looking forward to stopping on the way, and we were going to spend an hour or two in the hot pool as we went through.
And we've heard there's some, we heard there was a gondola. You know,
yeah, since we were there left, there was a
it.
gondola that takes you up on the mountain, and there's a whole amusement park
Yeah.
up on top of the mountain. And I've seen videos of people riding one of the roller coasters that hangs out over the cliff and all kinds of stuff. It looked really cool.
At this point, I'd probably just watch happily, but it looks really cool.
But when we got there, we found a very different situation. So we had always been in Glenwood Springs in the winter. Now, this is the middle of the summer,
and it's
Well, we camped there in the summer before.
well, that's true, and the hot springs wasn't all that crowded. I mean,
We've been in it before. Mhm.
but now, what, 40 years later,
Yeah, got to admit, yeah, it's a popular place. It's beautiful.
it was so crammed full of people that we didn't even know if we were going to have room to get into the pool. I mean, it was
Well,
crazy.
and even more than that, it was very difficult to find anywhere to park.
Yeah,
If I was really young and we had to park way, way far away, and of course it was 95 degrees. Park way, way far away. The thought of just, walking with everything, you swim and then you carry everything back. But I mean, it's hard to park.
yeah. Now they did
yeah.
have a parking lot there, and it did have a few empty spaces, but they were very small, very tight for compacts. There's no way we could get our truck in there.
Yeah.
We can pretty much fit in a standard parking lot, but not that one.
Well, not
But
the little skinny
They did
ones.
have a sign that said RV and oversized parking this way. And it was so frustrating. It showed the arrow that way and it gave an address. I put in the GPS, the address, and it didn't exist in my GPS. So I tried to follow the signs this way, and then there was an arrow that way, and then there were no more signs. And so we drove all over the place looking for that, and we finally found it where it said oversized parking. There was nobody parked there, so we weren't sure if it was the right place. And it was like 6 or 7 blocks away. So it would have been a long walk, especially for her, in the heat, to get into a pool that was like shoulder to shoulder. And then on top of that, I've talked about this before many times, I don't do well in the heat, not at all. And it
No,
was,
he literally gets sick.
yeah, it's like I fight trying not to pass out very quickly. And so the air was 95 degrees, and the thought of getting into 97 degree water in 95 degree air, I thought, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to get in the pool. So we bypassed that whole thing. And I wanted to try to get a few videos or pictures so you could at least see the pool, but it's all surrounded by buildings and such that we couldn't get a picture of it.
We kept trying, but we couldn't get close enough to really get a good shot. I tell you what, it's famous, Glenwood Springs, hot springs. You can Google it and you will find pictures. It's beautiful.
It's a wonderful place to go, but I think it's more wonderfuler in the winter than it is in the summer.
Well, that's true. That's true.
There's not going to be many people there in the winter, and it's just a fabulous place. So then we thought, well, we'll go and try the gondola ride up to the top and check out the
amusement park.
The amusement park, and get a wonderful view of the Glenwood Springs Valley and the city and all that.
We're thinking about you guys getting good video, Yeah.
And once again, they had a paid parking spot, but I didn't know if we were going to be going up or not because I didn't know what it cost and whatever. They also had a free parking spot, but it was like 2 blocks.
Oh no, 2 blocks away.
3 blocks away.
At least.
Up a hill.
Yeah.
So
At least 3 blocks.
So we went and parked down there, and we did make the trudge up the hill in that 95 degree heat.
And I tell you what, it was exciting to me because it was hot, blazing sun. And we had to go across the parking lot, and then you go onto this sidewalk, and then you go up, and over a bridge, and up. And I did it.
Yeah, she did. She really did.
I did. This is at oh, good grief, Columbus Springs. What do you say the altitude is there? Probably the same as Colorado Springs, isn't it? Maybe.
I think it's more than that. It's
yeah, maybe 7
or 8,000, something.
And
like
you got to
that.
understand, I was at 7,000 or 8,000 feet. I'm not completely sure, but I was doing it. I was so excited about that.
Yeah.
So then we got to the gondola place after a big long walk.
And we saw that it was $35 a piece for the gondola ride, and then if you wanted to do anything in the amusement park, it was more than that.
And we didn't know for sure if the gondolas, they're just little cute. We got video, of gondola.
I'm showing you.
Yeah, you're showing it. But we didn't know if there were like any kind of air conditioning in there.
But I realized that by the time I made the hike up to the base of the gondola, I was once again trying not to pass out. And I thought, so I'm going to ride that and then walk around that amusement park up on the mountain in this heat.
And that's up at like 11,000 feet.
I just physically was not capable of it because of the heat, and I didn't want to spend $70 to do something that would be an ordeal because of the heat. So we decided not to do that as well.
It's kind of interesting because he gets around better than I do, but I handle heat better than he does. So it was a toss-up. Who had a harder time with that? Yeah.
So we were so excited about going to Glenwood Springs, and it turned out the whole thing was a bust for us. Everything we tried to do didn't work.
I got in a good walk. Good hot walk, but I got in a good walk. Getting back in that air-conditioned truck,
Yeah.
It was wonderful.
So then, yeah, we got back in the air-conditioned truck and we drove to Grand Junction. Now, there's an area of BLM land just north of Grand Junction where we were planning to stay. I had stayed there once before on my way to California
and
5
he
years
loved
ago.
it. And that was in cool weather.
Yeah, so we were going to stay there, but the temperature in Grand Junction was 101.
Yep, it was.
Which meant that when we went to bed in the evening, it would still be probably in the upper or low 90s. And we had the same problem we did before without that air conditioning because we didn't have enough solar power. It just wasn't going to work.
Yeah.
So we got a hotel once again in Grand Junction. And
it was nice. I got to admit,
Yeah.
it was nice. Not very expensive, but it was nice.
so then the next morning, we left to go the rest of the way to Utah. So anyway, now we are actually at our friend's house, Jeff and Lisa in Utah, who is going to do the work.
Yeah.
But
They do such excellent work.
So we spent the next day driving to Utah, and to their house here. What incredible scenery! We absolutely love it.
Oh, it is so wild.
Yeah.
And just little mementos. We had stopped at this gorgeous place just to have a pit stop and that kind of stuff. And there was a lovely couple there to Navajo, and I bought a little anklet from the Navajo lady, and I just thought that was really cool. It was very inexpensive, but what a memento.
Yeah.
So
So here we go then into the rest of the way into Utah.
yeah.
So we spent last night in Grand Junction, Colorado, and we are just entering Utah. We will be at our destination near Salt Lake by early afternoon today, and the solar install starts tomorrow morning, so I'm very excited about that.
I am too. It's going to be wonderful to have this really ready to go.
Wide open desert land, Utah. I don't know why, but I love it here. This is the first little scenic pull-off in Utah, and this is the first actual scene of the desert that I love so much. What do you think, dear?
I love this wild country. It's so dramatic and big, and I don't know. Whew. And this crisp air, man. I was just realizing how many times I have been to Utah, and I've not driven here since I was a kid. It's amazing.
How'd you get here? Did you walk?
I flew.
Oh.
I flew and flew and flew.
So this is a rest area in Utah along Interstate 70, and there's this big, I won't call it a mountain, but it's a ridge with a trail up there, and I think the view from up above is going to be exceptional, so I'm going to go check that out. Oh my, the view from up here is fabulous. There's the rest area. There's our little camper. Last little section was quite steep, and we're not at extreme altitude like we have been, but I think we're considerably higher than we are in Florida or Virginia, and I'm breathing heavy. But this is absolutely amazing. I love all of these mesas. And in the bright sunshine, I can't see my viewfinder at all, so I have no idea what I'm getting on film, but I just love this. All of those mesas in a row right there in the open lands. Can you imagine trying to cover terrain like this with a horse and wagon. A lot of this stuff out here in the middle will be easy. And then you come across a dry wash where it's too steep to get across it. It just amazes me.
What a charming, kind of cool place here at this stop. Because, you know, it's this big, wide open desert and it's hot, but it's nice in here. We can just sit in the shade for a minute. So, what was it like up on top, sweetheart?
Hot.
Was it a gorgeous view?
Yes, it was.
Oh, neat.
You know, it's about 11 o'clock and it was starting to get hot. I wouldn't have been able to do this 2 hours later because it would have been too hot to do it.
Yep.
And the climb was steeper than it looked and a higher elevation. I was huffing and puffing by the time I got up there, but it was definitely worth the climb.
I'm so grateful you filmed up there because I'll be able to see it.
Yeah.
So after another wonderful day of driving through Utah where we absolutely loved it, we are finally here now, and we're actually south of Salt Lake, and tomorrow I will be going down to Jeff's shop, which is in Spanish Fork, and we're going to start the solar install. And also I haven't finished the fresh water tank, so while he's doing the solar, I'm going to be doing the fresh water tank. So we are very excited because as soon as that's done, which is probably going to take 2 days, we're going to be ready to be totally self-sufficient, even in the middle of the desert if we want to.
Yeah, we're going to have enough solar that we can run the AC so it's not dangerous,
right.
You know, and be really quite off-grid. It's really cool.
Right.
And I'm so impressed with the quality of work that they do. I mean, they do gorgeous stuff. Oh.
So catch the next video about the solar install, and thanks for watching.
Yeah. Live simple.
Live free. You be blessed.
Yes. We do love you guys, and we're glad to bring you along. And by the way, Glenwood Springs is wonderful. It just turned out different than we thought for us. All righty.
Thanks for watching.
Yeah. Bye-bye.